Hello.
Hello, folks. So, Ms. Nash, let me start with you. Can you walk us through, well, first of all, how this role came to you and your process in approaching it?
How the role came to me was I had found out about the story of the Central Park Five, which we lovingly call the Exonerated Five.
Yeah.
Yes.
I found out about these young men's story many years ago, and I felt like I was carrying a burden for people I never met. So many years later, when Ava DuVernay I heard that she was doing this project. I slid in her DMs. I was like, girl, I text her, I left a message, I went on her IG, I left a message on her Twitter. I was like, I must be a part of this narrative. And my approach after meeting Corey and speaking with his mother for about an hour was really to lead with her pain, because it was still palpable after all this time. You know, people tell you, oh, that was so long ago, it's in your rear view, you should be over it by now. But the residue was still on the altar of her heart. And I felt like, especially the scenes with Marcy and Corey, that it was really her fear for her child, that I don't know how to help you if you go out in the world like this. But because I don't feel that I have permission to be vulnerable, I'm going to lead with anger because it's easier. And that was how I entered into that world.
Jarrell, how about you? I mean, how did this enter your life? And I just also want to know, your first conversations with Corey. How did you get to know him, and how did you begin researching what happened to him?
Same for me. I slid in them DMs too. I saw that she posted, Ava posted on her Instagram just a screenshot of an article from the 89 of the Central Park Five, and she said, I'm bringing this story to life. And it wasn't a story that I was familiar with, but I grew up in the Bronx, so it was told in my household, as a story among other stories, almost as a life lesson for children my age growing up. The common things, be polite to a police officer, don't reach for your wallet, don't stay out late at night, don't hang with the wrong crowds. And so this story was definitely mentioned for me growing up, but it wasn't something that I grasped entirely. So when I saw Ava post it, I immediately had this feeling in my gut that it just hit me so hard. And I looked at the picture of these five men, and I saw either me or some of my friends in all of them. And so I messaged Ava, and all I said was, this is going to be beautiful, with a heart. I just said, this is going to be beautiful. I didn't know what she was going to do with it. I had no idea that I would be a part of it. And I just knew that she was the person to tell the story. So I messaged her that. She responded 2 years later when, she knew the boy. And, so as for meeting Corey Wise, I met Corey at the table read. Ava brought the men to the table read of scripts 1 and 2. And so the first time I read the script out loud, and the first time I exercised the voice that I was trying to work with in public, was right next to Corey Wise himself. And so that pressure alone took a toll on me, especially before I got there. But the second I met Corey, all of my fear and insecurities kind of got knocked out. He kind of looked at me, he goes, yeah, you handsome too. Okay. And he's just, that energy completely brightened my entire perspective. And at first it was like, do I talk to him a specific way? Do I treat him a specific way? Do I act sensitive? And the second I met him, it was a brother, and it was a mentor of mine. And after we read the script, he had tears coming down his eyes. And I looked at him, and he said exactly what he just said now. He said, it's life after death. And he said, I'm not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because this is the celebration of my life. And he took the chain off of his neck and he put it on mine. And he was like, you Corey Wise now. Wow. That was my first experience with him.
For both of you, what was it like working with Ava as a director? I mean, I know you've had experience with Barry, with Moonlight, and Nisi, you've had experience with so many different directors. Can you tell us what about Ava makes her so special?
This is my second go round with Ava because I did Selma with her too. And thank you. Ava to me is the epitome of grace under fire. You will never see her sweat. Am I lying?
You're not lying.
I don't care what is happening.
Yeah.
And she may be treading water below the surface for her life. But head above water, she is cool as a cucumber. And she cares for her actors. She wants to make sure you have every resource and everything you need. I don't know if you remember the scene that we did where you asked me to put the money on your books. And we were across from each other. And we were trying to maintain our connection, and there were background artists that were talking, not miming. And it was just like, and I was just like, oh my God. It was like, what is going on? And I said, well, if they could just, please be quiet, please. And then they kept talking, and then they kept talking. And finally she was just like, you know what? Very calm. Everybody out. Yeah, all of you out. And everybody leaves, and she goes, you guys okay now? And we go, we're great.
Are you good?
She's amazing, though, an amazing woman. Yeah.
Yeah. How would you speak to that?
For me, I'm still so young, and I still feel so brand new to everything I do, like this, for example. And
we're at an event, and he said,
I'm like,
I said, you okay? I can't believe I'm sitting next to Nisi and Ava.
I feel like a baby, and I feel like everything is still so new. And my biggest fear for myself personally was the fact that I had left college to do the work and to get right into this career. And for me, as an actor, my fear is to kind of lose those fundamentals that you learn in school, those things that kind of make you the actor that you are, and the simple things like what a tactic is and what a beat is, and the things that are from way back. My fear was that I would lose touch, with that.
Well, you haven't.
Well, because I'm getting to the point that working with Ava was a masterclass. She's a professor. So those 3 months I spent with her, it was school. It was college for me, and I didn't have to worry about not having those fundamentals because Ava is that all-in-one. And her as a director, she's a teacher, she's a mentor to me, she's a professor, and she became way more than a director to me. I learned every single day from her, and I had this journal, and I would keep down things that she would say, the smallest things, and they have left the biggest impact on me as an actor. And so, yeah, that's Ava. Ava to me is just way more than a director,
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not just the two of you. You also, have a relationship with your daughter in this film that is a big part of your role.
Sure.
How did you approach that part? And you talking about speaking with the mother in real life about that relationship. Did you speak to her about that as well?
Well, I don't, we had a conversation for about an hour there, and I won't go into detail of the things that she shared with me
Of course.
in protection of her. She's still in an awful lot of pain. But I will tell you, with regards to the actress that played Norman/Marcy, I did go to her prior to filming because I've built a career on improv. It's just what I do, and I know how to do it well. And I didn't, and it was important for me to hold this baby in my arms and say, listen, Mama about to say some things, and I want you to charge it to my art and not my heart, because I have to stand flat-footed in this thing. It's not what I believe, and I need you to look me in my eye and understand that. So once we got that out of the way, we could push through. So I held on to her before we started, and as soon as they said cut, I was like, come here. Because that was important to me, not to leave another soul damaged in this world because you went off this page and said something that may have made them feel like, wait a minute. Yeah, so I definitely didn't want to do that.
Right. And how did you exist? You know, it's tough even to navigate. You know, being on the peripheral of those kinds of scenes. How did you deal with that?
Anytime I had a chance to share a scene with Isis, who played Marcy, it was like a huge relief for me. I spent a lot of my scenes alone, and I spent a lot of my time by myself, the same way Corey did. And so sharing a scene with nobody, scene after scene, is something. You know, it feels almost like you are alone, even though you do have this set, you do have this world. You were constantly alone. So Isis would bring that energy that felt so sisterly to me. And so to share those scenes with her, it was nothing but love for who she is, especially as an actress, and who she is as a person in real life. It was nothing but love and respect, because she was my comfort on set for a while. When I would see her on the call sheet, I got excited. I was like, yes, Isis is here today, and I get to smile in my scene today. And so that comfort must have been exactly what Corey felt in real life.
Joel, I want to talk to you about portraying Corey during different parts of his life. I mean, you go all the way from the time that he was about 16 all the way until, you know, a time, you know, a completely different part of his life through completely different phases of his life. How did you, you know, make those adjustments? Not just, you know, of course, doing different settings through, of course, but just obviously just different ages. How did you do that?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry. Definitely the hardest thing I probably have ever had to do. It was a multi-step process. It wasn't just one thing. It wasn't just looking at him and being like, oh, got it, cool, let's go and impersonate. I wasn't trying to impersonate, I was trying to embody him. And that was Ava's one biggest note for me. No one is ever going to be Corey Wise, and no matter how hard I tried, and no matter how much screen time I played on this show, I will never be Corey Wise, and I would never fill his shoes. Those are way too big to fill. And so my job was to embody him and embody who he was, and that is that takes multiple things. Who he is, to me, I think he's the most unique person on this planet that I've met, at least. And you can just hear him with the few words he said now. It's very unique. It stays with you. It has an impact on you. So I had to find those qualities of him that makes him who he is, and that started with the voice. I went through 2 months with the vocal coach, training my voice to slow it down, to kind of, it's actually a trick. I just put my tongue down at the bottom right here. I just start talking like this, and then it starts naturally happening. He slurs his voice a lot, and so it was kind of learning how to slow it down and stretch it out. And then once it started with the voice, it started to kind of lead into my body and the way he walks. And you can see that in him today. Today, 16-year-old Corey is still inside him, beating his drum, doing his thing, and you can see it. And so spending time with him day after day helped me play his younger self more than anything. Playing him when he's in prison, it's all in the script. The pain is all in the story. The pain is there. It's not hard even for us to just watch it, to close your eyes, think about it, and feel that emotion, feel that pain. You know, so for younger Corey, it was just speaking to him now, and finding those qualities that he has now, because he's just so full of life. He's just so full of joy, and that's exactly who he must have been, especially if the prison system tried to break it down. But look at it here still, you know?
Well, if I may add one note, when I interviewed Ava for Rolling Stone, she said that you know, Jerome was one of the people who just kept coming up on the list, you know, for, you know, young people that she wanted to use and older people that she wanted to use, boys and for men. And he said he just kept coming up on both lists, and I wanted to find a way to use him, and I can just say I'm thankful that she did. So thank you.